What's going on YouTube? Hayden Rd making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we'll be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as Stellar Lumens to BTC. As always, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up if you like the content and want to see more. Otherwise, let's jump into today's episode. Hopefully you guys like my little intro there. I went to a place in Rochester called Tim Hortons. Hopefully you guys are familiar. I know a lot of people who live downstate only know about like Dunkin' Donuts, but yes, there's something called Tim Hortons. Let me know in the comments down below whether you like Tim Hortons or Dunkin' Donuts better, and I'll give you my opinion in the next episode. Otherwise, moving on, as you saw in today's title, we are going to be looking at Mastercard, potentially getting more involved with blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, as well as is there a recovery in sight for Litecoin and the rest of the crypto market. So, before we dive into the technical analysis and the article that I have, we have to obviously talk about the coin market cap. That's our best way to look at this in a more macroeconomic standpoint. Then we dive more into a microeconomic view of things. So as you guys can see, we have a current Bitcoin dominance of 55%. So we're seeing an increase in Bitcoin, which can tell us two things. Either Bitcoin's price and volume is rising, or we're seeing altcoins dip and Bitcoin kind of stay the same, if not fall slower than the rest of the alts. We see 24-hour volume being fairly the same as yesterday, so we're not really seeing much at that. And then we see the market cap at 110, which is fairly the same as yesterday, if not slightly lower than yesterday. I think we're at like 113. So, as we can see, looking at the top 10 coins, we're seeing majority of the market in red. You can see that Bitcoin is only down by 4%, but the other coins seemingly, if you average them out, I know there are some outliers, are down more than the other ones. So Bitcoin is down by 4, but XRP is down by 4.4, Ethereum is down by 5, Stellar is down by 6, Litecoin's down by 5. You know, we do seem to have, you know, 7%, 6%, 11%, 6%. So majority of the altcoins are down more than Bitcoin itself. That's why we're seeing the Bitcoin dominance grow compared to the other altcoins. A lot of double-digit downers today. Decred is down by 10%. That doesn't look too good. Factom down by 14.9%. Decentraland down by 11%. So very interesting. And we also know that some of these were added to the Coinbase exchange, as we discussed in yesterday's article. So that's pretty interesting. Otherwise, let's move on to this article that I have here, posted by the CCN Crypto Coin News, something like that. It says, Mastercard applies for a new patent for anonymous blockchain transactions, a regulated Bitcoin Tumbler. Let's dive into this article and kind of see what we can grasp from that. Mastercard, the company who have gone through the entire process of laughing, you know, fighting, embracing Bitcoin, and then attacking it again, have applied for another new patent in the blockchain space. Their last one was in regards to, we're not making this up, a fractional reserve crypto bank. They describe a novel method of anonymizing transactions which does not, in function, represent those in place by Monero or other privacy coins. Instead, the method described sounds a lot like coin mixing, a service of various businesses in the community have offered for years. For those who are not aware, coin mixing, also called tumbling, so I was thinking of Tumbler, the social media thing, completely different, is the process of taking a lot of different inputs from senders, tumbling them together like a washing machine, and pushing out new contracts from the recipient address, thus obfuscating the original source of the funds. Don't mock me in the comments for pronouncing that wrong. Otherwise, it says there are multiple methods of tumbling bitcoins, mixing coins, or tumbling them in no more illegal than getting change at a gas station. In neither case can you be sure that the previous holders of the units were not criminals or engaged in criminal activity. This is where the concept of fungibility is most applicable. So that's actually something I never even thought about. You know, when you get change or money back to you from buying anything, you don't know who previously was holding that. You don't know if they were a criminal, if they were a wealthy person, a poor person. You have no idea. That's kind of how they're doing this fiat money, you know, under the books kind of exchanges. It's very interesting. It says the Mastercard method is described as follows. The blockchain node may receive the request and may process the transaction to transfer the specific amount from the processing service blockchain wallet to that of the recipient device. In some embodiments, the processing server may notify the sender device of the recipient device of the transfer, which may also include the providing of a transaction record identifier for the second transaction. As a result, the sender may transfer a specific amount of digital currency to the recipient with increased anonymity. again, don't get me. I try not to cut these things out because I find them quite comical. But as the blockchain may reflect only the sender sent currency to the processing server, and the recipient received currency from the processing server. I think no, that was correct. The sender and then the server. Okay, so when using the processing server across multiple transactions and with multiple entities using the processing server, the true source of destination for any transaction is obscured to the point of being impossible to identify. If used for each transaction, a nefarious actor looking at the transactions for the sender 104 will only see transfers to and from the processing server, thus revealing no information about the sender's spending habits, thus protecting the sender's anonymity. Very interesting. I don't want to continue to read this entire crazy, very thought out, article. It says, do they intend to get this patent and then enforce the patent against companies, which they are already doing in similar service, often with similar or higher levels of anonymity? The move raises lots of questions in any cryptonaut's mind, and CCN has reached out to Mastercard to comment as to their nature and plans of the technology they seek to patent. So yeah, you'd think if a big MasterCard company wants to stay anonymous and be, very low with their, patent, why are they doing that? Why do they want to be anonymous? So that does raise some, red flags to some cryptonauts as to why exactly they're doing this. But otherwise, let's move on. So we're on Litecoin right now. We're on the weekly, and I did say that we could potentially see a correction, a movement upwards, a bounce, Did we reach a crucial critical bottom? I know a lot of people have been calling this previously that, they're expecting to see a $15 Litecoin. They're expecting to see a $4 Litecoin. They're expecting to see a $1 Litecoin. They're expecting to see a $0 Litecoin. Will we see that? We're just going to have to do some TA to find out. So a few things that I notice right off the bat is we are oversold now on the weekly. So weekly is now oversold, which we haven't been in very long time, years. So that's one indicator that we're at the bottom. This is it. Either we're going to stay here and just trade out sideways for a year, 2, 3 years, like we've seen in the past, and just accumulate at $24, $25 price level until we get more bullish news and it blows out of proportion again. Or are we going to, bounce right off this, head right back up to $50, $60, $100, $200? Or are we going to just slowly move back up in a couple of months? It's very interesting. A lot of questions we're going to have to figure out. But you guys can see we're testing this bottom line at 23.59. The price currently is 24 something. You can see why I have this line drawn. As you can see in the past, we blew up once and retraced back down to this line here and then bounced off it and shot up higher. You can see we have another candle where a wick touched this line and then moved up higher. So it is some sort of support. It does hold support kind of well. The next support that I'm seeing is all the way down at $4. So it is definitely a critical support. I'd be very shocked if we fell from this. If it does, not much support holding it. We're also oversold. So it makes more sense to me that we should continue up. Zooming, a little closer into the weekly, into the daily, you can also see we're also oversold on the daily, which gives us another indicator that this is most definitely some sort of bottom or holding for a couple of days before we move up in any sort of direction. You can see we're holding support once again at 28, being oversold, just slightly oversold in the daily. You can see we're holding it fairly well right here. I don't think we're going to go much lower. If we do, I'd be shocked, but $16, $15 is the next line, That's where this, bottom support is, this downwards trending support level. $15 seems likely. So we're going to have to see. It'd be very shocking if we did break here. Then it may make people think, how low is this coin going to fall? Are we going to just go to zero? Is crypto a big scam, joke, manipulating market, Ponzi scheme, multi-level marketing scheme like BitConnect was? We're going to have to find out. But otherwise, it is trading sideways. This is 3 days where it's traded on here. Things would look a lot more bright if we decided to start to move up, at least to our high-low MMA. Retest that green band, showing us that there's some, volatility in here. There's some volume moving us up, double the price, $24 that we're at to $50. You guys would double your money that quick. So it's something to pay attention to. I do think we're going to keep trading sideways for a little bit, but even some volume moving us up higher would definitely raise some eyebrows from the media for sure. can also see Bitcoin is oversold on its daily, trading sideways, found some sort of bottom at $3,360. We're going to see if it holds that. You know, not much I want to talk about with Litecoin, with Bitcoin, due to the fact that it's just consolidating out. It is, again, below its green band and its red band on the high-low MMA, oversold on its RSI. So many indicators that tell us we need to move up. You know, it's seen so much blood, so much readiness. I do think it's going to start to climb up soon. And I'll explain why. You know, this is Aetherium on its weekly. We haven't looked at Aetherium on its weekly in months. You can see a couple of things. There is a huge downtrend on here, and you can see we've battled this numerous times, and you can see it's still holding fairly strong. It doesn't seem like it wants to break anytime soon. You know, I'm zooming in again, oversold on its weekly, so these markets are extremely, you know, flustered. They have taken a huge, you know, beating. You can see it's at some sort of support right here at its 80. It's at, the currency is at 89.14, but there seems to be a support right around there, if not a little bit lower. And it's holding that quite well. So we're going to see whether or not it can hold this, trade sideways, try to move back up to its high-low MMA on its weekly. We'll see a very nice spike all the way back to $300, and a lot of you guys would be fairly confused with that. But, you know, I think the market has restarted itself, you know, back down to where it was before the end of 2017, before that massive breakout. Ethereum's also oversold on its daily. A lot of oversold. You can see it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 days, 5 to 6 days, almost a week of just flatline trading, no volume. We've talked about this. When we see markets with no volume, one of two things happen. We break up very high, we break low very high. I mean, very low, but you get it with a high amount of volume, either direction. So we're either going to see a pump, retest around 128, 125, or we're going to break down lower. And I know nobody wants to see that. I'd kind of say I'd swing more to the upside because we are oversold right now. My biggest indicator is XLM. We've looked at XLM so many times before, but I think this is such an important, you know, chart for us. XLM is trading very weird on its weekly. You can see once again, we finally started the next candle. Today is Monday. It's 7-day weekly candle closed. Why does it have 7 days? As you guys know, the stock market is open from like, I don't even know, 8 to 4 or 8 to 6 p.m. I forget the exact days, business hours, Monday through Friday. It's closed Saturday, Sunday. So unlike crypto, the stock market has 5 business days that it trades in between. Cryptocurrency trades 24/7, you know? Prices change all different times, so there's no opening and closing days. So these candles show a lot more history to them. So you can see this weekly candle finally came to a close. It tested its bottom support fairly strong. Now we're starting the next candle. Like I said yesterday, are we going to see this candle, weekly candle, close here? I truly think we need that for this market. I think we need to see XLM pull back down to its 5-day point, you know, hit this, close like it did here, and then start to see a rise. And I think this is going to happen. I do think this is going to happen a little shorter, a little smaller than what we've seen, but I think we're going to see a nice run coming in the next couple of weeks. You know, maybe 1 to 2 weeks, we're going to see a candle that's going to be very beautiful and very green, and we're going to see that movement, and we're going to see that within the rest of the market too. So I do think be patient. You know, we're waiting to touch 5. We're waiting for a, not a wick, we're waiting for an entire candle. We're waiting for that big block, that big red block to close here, start a weekly candle above, and then we're going to see some movement. So that's my little analysis on that. If you're new to the channel, like I said, make sure to subscribe. Leave a giant thumbs up if you like the content. Turn on post notifications. This way you don't miss out on any important crypto news, TA, current events, money making, you know, finance, investing, all that good stuff. So make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's episode. Peace.